Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Famonomics podcast. I'm your host, Rashanda Castile, and I just want you to know that you are in the right place. Today, I have my amazing guest, Mrs. Jacqueline Venters, who is a pillar of our community. I've known her for several years, but I thought it was no better time than now to actually get a live interview from somebody who brings so much value to our community in the city of Compton. So I want to take this time to say, welcome, Mrs. Venters, to Famonomics podcast.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Rashanda. I feel honored.
So one thing about Mrs. Venters, I've been watching you for several years. I've been connected with you. I've reached out to you. If there's anything that I need, if I don't have the answers, Miss Venters got the answers, or she knows somebody who knows somebody. So I want to take this time to just really just have an open conversation with you as a woman. As a woman in 2026, I know that you can give us a lot of rich gems for the women and the young men out here in this world, challenges with different challenges. So, because I know that you have a very diverse background, so I want you to kind of give you an opportunity to say who you are, what you do, your organization, and just kind of like start from there, so we can kind of unfold this conversation.
Well, first of all, again, I feel honored to be part of this, and wow, it's like I really don't know where to start. Because at 70 years old, you know, I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot, experienced a lot, and just survived a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where to start. You know, my life has had ups and downs, good and bad. But out of all that, it was lessons.
Okay.
It was lessons, and it prepared me for the journey that I'm on now, because you know, God sent us through things to get us where He wants us to be, and I think right now in my life I'm where He wants me to be. I just love helping people.
Yeah.
You know, and through my journey of life, even through the times that I was doing things that I didn't have no business, I still was helping people, you know, and I love bringing family, friends, just people together. So throughout the years, I think that's what I was doing, just bringing everybody together. Now I'm looking at the seeds that I planted through those years by bringing everybody together. This is the growth now. And on my 70th birthday, it showed the love. You know, it was amazing to see that many people show up. So it just shows that some of the things that I have been doing throughout my years wasn't bad.
Yeah, right. You were planting seeds on good ground.
Yeah,
when people show up, that says a lot.
And they showed up. But, you know, I started a nonprofit in 2001. Actually, we're coming up on 25 years with this big plan. Oh, we're going to get all this money.
Okay.
Didn't get no money, but the legacy, you know, it's bigger than a nonprofit, I could say that. Because when it's in your heart, I found out I didn't even need no money.
That's the truth. And I want you to share with the audience, what's your nonprofit organization?
My organization is Inner City Child Development and Youth Foundation. Many they don't even know about the organization.
They just know that you've been putting in the work.
They just know that I've been doing things.
Yes.
Because when I'm out there, you know, most of the time it's me. It's
hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work. And I can understand, and I can relate for that, because I know we live in this digital era and this new thing, and everything is about marketing and branding. And I'm learning about that at the same time, but it's like, dealing with the nonprofits and the names and all these different kind of things, sometimes it can be confusing when you just really have a desire to just labor of love, just really just see there's a need in your community and you just want to help. So that's kind of how I started a few years ago, and I believe it's 2012. 2012, I went through a separation with my ex-husband, who was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia. and I really didn't understand what that was, or how it would affect me.
Yes.
But I felt like I could relate to an army wife. So I decided. I said I want to start well, I didn't say I wanted to start a nonprofit. A few friends reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's join a social club." And I'm like, okay, let's go to this social club. We went to the motorcycle club, and I'm like, I am not feeling this. One, we don't have no motorcycle. And for two, this is not where I need to be, because I'm a separated mother of 3 children.
Yes.
And I need to try to figure out how can I elevate and get in the space where I can be kind of like build. So God put it in my heart, and I started a group called Divine Sisterhood. And it was just out of where I was, being a single mother. And then I had 2 sons and 1 daughter. So I just started doing stuff that was put in my heart. Just put in my heart, so I can understand when you say, like, people don't know it's an organization. I just do this because it's just a part of us. Yeah. Some of these things are just a part of who we are.
It's more so advertising yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what you're giving is yourself.
Yeah.
Even when you start a nonprofit, as a founder, executive director, you're advertising yourself, because you get out there and it's your passion.
Yeah.
And it becomes a journey, because you got to find like-minded people to support you on that journey. And if you don't, you keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going, and that
you
gets
do.
you to 25 years.
Yeah, you do keep going, because you learn that along the way. And what I've learned along the way is everybody can't go, and they won't. Because I had to learn that, because I would say, well, I have a good idea and I don't understand why, nobody ain't
helping
tuning
me.
in. Nobody is helping me. There's so many things I could be doing. And then I said, at the end of the day, why would they really understand what I'm doing? Because it's not what God put in their heart. So I just felt like creating a space where women can get together. We had meetings at my house. When I first started, we was at my house, in the garage, in the living room, just trying to create an opportunity in a space right there. Really, where I was lonely. I was hurt, and I was just trying to figure out, how can I create something in a space where there's other women who feel like I feel, who feel abandoned. But I felt a little bit different, that my situation was a little different, because I never knew what bipolar was. I never knew what bipolar schizophrenia was. So I just knew crazy was crazy. I had an uncle, everybody just called him crazy. I never knew nothing about a diagnosis or mental health. So when I started researching, I kind of felt like an army wife.
Yeah.
When your husband go out to war and he's doing it, he come back and then he just different. That's how I felt, because I was like, well, he not in jail. He not out drinking and drugging and doing the things. No. So it was just one of those places where I was like, I need to come up with something different than that and try to create an opportunity. So I want you to just share with us, like, the obstacles, and for those people who are trying to become entrepreneurs or want to open up a nonprofit organization. I think Ms. Venters will be a great person for you to know, that if you are interested in trying to open up a nonprofit organization, you really got to make sure you in it for the right reasons, because nowadays we got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, you know what? From what I'm witnessing right now, everybody want a nonprofit organization. Everybody want a nonprofit organization, but a lot of them is for the wrong reason. Yeah. I've seen a lot of scams, scandals, misappropriation of funds, and so many things that have went on, and the work is not being done. Yeah. So just having a nonprofit organization and not being able to supply the services, resources, or the connection in your community. Yeah. Some of these nonprofits been active for years, but you can't even reach your community because you're not out there. Yeah. And people are, I'm visual. I want to see. I want to hear about, I want to see something. Yeah. And some of the things I'm not seeing. My platform, I never had a building. Yeah. I prayed for one, but I didn't believe in renting. I don't want to rent nobody else's stuff. I like ownership, you know. Yeah. Let me have some type of interest in what I'm paying for. So I never had a building, but I have a history of serving my community, and it's pictures.
Yeah.
It's
And
pictures and pictures and word of mouth, you know, that speak more than anything, you know. And like I was telling you, you know, in the beginning you think, ain't nobody helping me, or, you know, I told them and don't nobody want to contribute. But if you think back on your journey, every time you planned something, the like-minded people, or the people that had the same passion, they showed up.
They show up.
Some of them you don't even know, or probably never even seen them again in your life.
Yes.
But some people is going to show up. You know, we have a food distribution, first and the third Thursdays of the month. I don't know who's going to show up. I pray on those days that enough people show up so we could continue to provide the services in our community. They show up. You know, I don't know some of them, but thank you guys, all those out there that show up.
Yeah.
You know, we appreciate you showing up.
Yeah.
And if I had funds or funding, you know, I could do more. But, you know, I want them to know that they're doing God's work, because not only are you helping me, you helping everybody that's coming to get this food.
Yes.
So, and community service. If you ever need me for something, you could come back and be like, Ms. Venters, Auntie Jackie, Big Sis, or whatever title you put on it.
Yeah.
You know, I need a letter. I need something showing that I helped you guys, or I'm trying to get this job. And I need a character. You know, I could be able to be there for you. It's not all the time about financial things, or giving something and looking for something, because you never know when you might need somebody for something. So it's fun to me. It's not even about the nonprofit. It's about what God put in me to share and give and care and all the things that make us happy and smile.
Yeah, I understand. I understand completely, because people always ask me, "Are you funded, or how do you do this?" And it's just like, honestly, when God gives you a vision, He honestly makes provision, and I'm definitely a witness and a testament to that, because I get on Facebook and I say, "Who got clothes? Who got food? Who got what?" And they bring it, and I'm able to open the door and put free. And when the clients come in here, and sometimes they're not even clients, they just people who pass by, they see the clothes, and just, I know as a parent, I know sometimes you just need help. So when the clients come in here from CPS or parole or probation, I always try to make sure I can offer them something.
Yeah.
Whether it's diapers, is food. Like in the back, I have snacks and everything. Why? Because I know how it is to be a parent. I know how it is to be for funds to be low and stuff, not to connect. And you just need, and then you got to come somewhere and handle some kind of business, and to kind of help the parents out a little bit. So like everything that I do, I just really do it because I really feel like I've experienced it. I come from a single family household. My mom had 4 of us, and the struggle was real. So when I was able to open up this space and the other spaces, I always said I want to make sure that I can give them something. I don't want them to come here and feel like, oh, I'm only going through this because I got to go to court. Because I don't want them to feel like when they come here, I'm a part of the system. I'm not a part of the system. My motto is service, support, and solutions. Absolutely. So when they come in here, it's like, yeah, you may have to take a domestic violence class or a parenting class, but it's so much more, because I ask them for an intake. And I say, well, what do you need?
Absolutely.
What do you need? Now that the kids are in the foster home, and we're preparing to get them back home, what do you need? Because I really want to help them, set them up for success, so they can get the kids back in the house and all those things. And it's like, I know how it is to just need some kind of help. Even right now, I'm working on some Mother's Day baskets, but it's not the typical Mother's Day basket. They got dishwashing liquid, washing powder, toilet paper. I got $10 roll of quarters, because I can just remember those days when I was having hardships. Those was like the little bitty things that I would run out of. And I'm like, if I just had $20, at least I can get through the end of the month and I can wash the kids' clothes. Yes. Or I need washing powder. So it seems like it's something so simple, but when you're going through a situation and finances are one of the reasons why that you're going through this situation, I just really like to help. And I don't know what it is. It's like I don't look for anything in return. I just really honestly like to help people.
It's just a passion. It's something that you can't control. I've been burnt so many times, you know, be like, oh, they're using you, or they.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, tell me how somebody using me. I said, because can't nobody do no more to me than what I allow.
Right.
I said, they might think they using me. I said, but I'm doing what God put in me.
Yeah.
If I give them this and they go do something else with it, that's going to be on them.
Yeah.
But I did my part, you know, because I know them. And when you care about somebody, I'm not going to judge them. You know, because I always think about where I could have been.
Amen.
You know, I share.
That's the truth.
I share the journey of moving to Compton in June of 1981. That was when I witnessed the murder of my husband, and I couldn't stay up in LA no more. But like I shared with you what I was doing up there, and I became, I started self-medicating myself because I was in a mental state that I didn't even know I was. I had a mental breakdown by the trauma.
Yes.
And not knowing, you know, they gave me medication at the doctor, but then I had everything that you could think of, and I started self-medicating myself because I was crazy. I had lost my mind. I had experienced so much of I had such a traumatic experience that it took me totally out of my character. Yeah. But again, I think about where I could have been. And as I was coming to myself, I started thinking about the people that I was hurting when I was doing what I was doing. You know, because reality starts setting in. But that's after I transitioned from a place that right now I think about I could be dead, on Skid Row, locked up in jail, and I could have been so many negative things at that time. But then God had another plan for me, because when I came here to Compton, my babies was 2 and 4. They 48 and 46 right now. And I'm watching all the community that I was part of on crack.
Wow. Yeah.
And I became getting out of an environment that I was poisoning.
Yes.
I came back to a new environment that didn't nobody know. They didn't know my history. They didn't know what I'd been through. But then I started rediscovering the woman that God made. I didn't get no help. I didn't know I needed nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, my baby, 5 years old, didn't realize that she had witnessed the same thing that I did. Didn't know that neither one of us needed nothing. But I became the neighborhood auntie, grandma, big sister.
Yeah.
I started grabbing these babies, you know, and I started taking care of these babies. And, you know, on their journeys, I was there with them because I wanted to make sure that they were protected. They didn't become part of the environment that their parents had went into. And I'm looking at them now. I thank God I'm proud of. Yeah. I'm proud of them. One of them that I grabbed them, 2 of them. That's why I started my nonprofit. One of them is a homicide investigator. Okay. The other one, I'm not for sure what he's doing right now, but bachelor degree, doing, you know, good for themselves. But this, and I could go on, because I'm looking at growing up again, not knowing that kids, I thought rich kids went to college. When I graduated in 1973 from Washington High School, I thought rich kids went to college because my mother tried to send me back east with my uncle. I always knew he was well off. And they was like, you come out here, you go to college. So I'm thinking, I gotta, you know, go, somebody gotta pay. Southwest College was right up the street. I didn't know, because my parents were best parents, but wasn't educators. They didn't graduate high school, junior high school. And I just immediately started looking for a job because I knew I had to make some money. Yeah. But you know, on that journey, if somebody had guided me somewhere else, but then it wasn't supposed to be. I'm looking at everything that happened it was supposed to happen like that, because I wouldn't be right here. But what it prepared me for is another journey. When I found out that you didn't have to be rich to go to college, I was at Compton College, 20-some years old, paying all my money to go, you know, and take classes. And I met these young ladies. They was talking about child care. I owned a child care, making $140,000 a year.
Wow.
They was like, we going to school. I was like, you don't have to go to school. You know, you could get your... So they shared something with me about financial aid at the college, and I shared, you know, the information. And I said, okay. When I found out all that money was up there, girl, I went back to my whole community, and I started putting them babies in college.
Oh, wow.
I started enrolling them, walking them through the process, and making sure they're getting their financial aid, and I watched their kids, and then work study. I hired them so they could come and work, and some things I did, you know, it was helping them, because I'm like, you know, I'm gonna give y'all some of this money back. You know, if you need something, let me know, because I'm making money, but I want to see them be successful. Some of them have their doctor's degree now, bachelor's degrees, but I did get my associate. Never thought that I was college material, and graduated with honors from Compton College. Didn't even know what honors was.
Okay.
You know, because I never thought that I'm thinking, you know, I wasn't intelligent enough or smart enough or could fit in. You know, and just things. Yeah. But not realizing childhood trauma could cut a lot of stuff off, because you don't even know what you don't even know. You don't even know. So
and that's another other question I was going to ask you too. Like, listen to your story, and I went to lunch a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a month or so ago, with a friend, and I was talking to her about my business, and she was just telling me, like, you know. Now, and I asked her for her honest opinion. I'm like, why? What do you think I need to be doing, or what could I be doing different? And she looked at me and she was like, first of all, I think you need a therapist. And she said, I watch you. I see the things that you do. They're great things. She said, but I feel like a lot of reasons why you do the things that you do is coming from your own trauma. And I think, and when she said that to me, she said, if you could be doing anything other than the things that you're doing right now, and money was the issue, would it be what you're doing? And I had to sit there and I had to pause for a minute, because I had to be honest with myself. A lot of the things that I think that we do sometimes when we're pillars, and we have this desire to truly help people, is because there was a lack somewhere along the way. That, you know, there was like a beat that like, you know, it's like your heart skips a beat. It's like somewhere along the way there was like a disconnect. And like for me, me growing up, and me being to a place right now, I said, this is my new year, but this is my new year not to try to prove or to build business. This is my year to really learn how to identify my love language with myself, because I feel like I have been at an advantage and a disadvantage, because I have been operating in trauma. So I feel like a lot of things that I have done, even though I know that they're services that they're provided, and they're needed throughout the community, when we sit back and really do that hard work for ourselves, it's just like you said, at the time you didn't understand, because for one, you didn't come from an educated background. The family, you know, out of state, they were more educated. They were more kind of leading you to you know, college and doing those things. But when it's real, because when you grow up in struggle, and you grow up in it's like a sacrifice mode. You know, everything is a struggle mode, and I can relate to that, because like I said, I grew up here in Long Beach. I didn't really have a lot of support. I didn't have a lot of support, so when I got older, I always said, I want to help people. I want to do these. I want to do these things. And I don't think it's a bad thing that you just want to help people, but I do think sometimes it's a disadvantage, because we didn't really fully get a true understanding of how to build us as an individual.
Let me tell you this. We were already built before we were born.
True. Very true.
Because the things that we're doing right now, Rashonda, he prepared us for it. because of our trauma that we went through. I think about, while you were talking, I'm thinking about my passion in different areas.
Yes.
I'm thinking about my passion with females as, I'm going to go back to my childhood, sexual abuse.
Okay.
That's a focus.
Yeah.
Domestic violence, a focus. These are focus areas because I lived them.
Yeah.
Trauma, separation from my mom and my dad, being rooted from an area that you lived for 15 years to a whole nother side of town to where you don't know nobody, going to another school. These are traumatic for kids. And we don't know. We didn't know that stuff.
We didn't know.
Because 15 years old, I was on the east side for all my life. That's all I knew.
Yes.
This was it. So at 15, I moved from the east side to the west side. I don't know nobody. We always grew up across the street from a park.
Yeah.
So the park was our outlet. That's where we got to go to different places, and none of that. I say I was raised on the front porch. They be like, no. I was like, I was raised on the front porch. We couldn't go nowhere. My mom had 6 girls.
Wow.
I was number 4, but then I wind up being the only one at home.
Okay.
I mean, after the other ones left, so I got me and then 2 we couldn't go nowhere. All my sisters, except for me and my baby sister, they had teenage pregnancies. So they were thinking, oh, you're going to have a baby, not graduate from school. I was like, I don't even like this school. I don't even want to go to school. But then, again, they used to ditch and go with boys. I was a tomboy, not no butch tomboy, but I always was with the boys. So I'm listening to them, how they used to say they pulled the train on girls and gave them. I said, that'll never happen to me. So my ditch was going in class, just sitting there, not doing nothing, and then go home.
Yeah.
Because I was scared to do anything else, but I don't want to do nothing here because this is traumatic for me. I'm sitting here with strangers.
Yeah.
And I did that all the way up into the 12th grade.
And I can relate. That's crazy because I can relate to a lot of stuff that you're saying.
But it's trauma.
And it's trauma. And I remember I was at 12th grade in Long Beach, Jordan. And I remember my counselor told me that he was like, you need 30 credits to graduate. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because I never really had anybody to take the time with me to even go to school with me, do anything. I remember it was a time I had a parent-teacher meeting, and my mom drove me to the school, but she never got out the car. And I was like, well, what's the point of you coming? So I just remember at an early age kind of feeling like I had to kind of fend for myself.
Yeah.
I really didn't feel like I had a voice. I remember after having that conversation with my principal, and my principal said, you're so bright and you're so talented and you can do all these things. And I was in choir because I used to sing. I used to sing all the time. That was one of my big things. I wanted to be a gospel singer. So singing was my outlet. But when she told me I needed the credits and the energy that I got back was not what I was looking for, I left. And I never went back to high school. I left high school and I never went back.
Junior high school. And I'm saying junior high school because I was still dealing with the trauma from the separation of my parents. I was a daddy's girl. So I didn't do nothing then, but then when graduation time came, we took everybody in the auditorium. I remember that day, and they laughing at people calling their name, not graduating. They called mine. I was like, oh. I said, I'm not graduating from 9th grade. My daddy just gave me money to go buy my outfit. I said, oh, he gonna kill me. My gym teacher, I never forget, she changed my F to a D and that made me graduate high school. I needed credits, and I'm looking, I was like, dang, everybody about to graduate but me. And I had made maybe like 3 friends that I said, I made up. I went to night school. Can you imagine? It's different now. I'm 16 years old on the bus stop at nighttime, traveling. Afraid, not afraid, but I should have been afraid. By myself at night, because night school was over at 9 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
So we stayed on 69th in Vermont. I had to get the bus on 69th in Normandy and walk down. And But I did it.
Wow.
I was determined to graduate because I didn't have a teenage pregnancy.
Yeah.
I was happy, like, thank you, Lord, about that. But then I wanted to show them that I was graduating. They just said, graduate. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I graduated. I graduated, but not even knowing what a major was. I majored in home economics because those was the easy classes, not knowing that your major is what prepared you for after school. So after I finished high school, I immediately started looking for jobs working in an office, and I'm putting major home. I didn't know that was a mixed match.
Yeah.
You know, so nobody really prepared me.
Right.
But like, again, I wouldn't trade my parents for nothing in the world.
Yeah.
You know, because that became a way of life.
Yeah.
At that time, you know, just surviving.
Yeah, and that's really what it was, survival mode. That's like me. When I was at Jordan, I never went back, and then it was like maybe it was years later. I think it was 2000. I think it was 2008. 2008. I'm class of 2000, but I didn't go back until 8 years and got my high school diploma.
Well,
because at that time I had a son and I got married and all these things, and I wanted to be a registered nurse.
Me
so
too.
I did all my prereqs at Compton College and everything, and they was like, you need a high school diploma. And I had a friend who, her family comes from a very educated background. Like, everybody had PhDs, and that's all they talked about is master's program. And I reached out to her and I'm like, I don't have a high school diploma and I want to do this. And she told me about this school in downtown LA. And I called and I paid the fee and I enrolled, and I went from Riverside to downtown LA. I was catching the train.
Okay, but you did.
I was catching the train. I caught the train. I would drop my kids off to my grandmother's house, who lived right there on Willow and Palmer. And then I would walk back to the train station and go downtown LA.
Determination.
I was determined. I said, because if this is all that's stopping me from moving to being into a better space, that's what I did. So I didn't graduate in 2000, but I did go back and get my high school diploma. So I just want our audience to understand that at the end of the day, all of us have experiences.
Yeah.
All of us have a journey, and like Mrs. Venter said, we're here for a reason. And I have to really piggyback off of that, because that was more like a revelation that I had yesterday when I was talking on Facebook Live, and I said, even before I even got here, when God allowed me the ability to take my first breath of air, He made provision, right? He ordained everything that we've been through, not to take away from us, but to really add character, to add value to us in our life. So we'll be able to be in a place like this where we can add value to our community, be able to let other people know that, hey, you too can thrive, can live. You know, you don't have to be on survival mode. And me at 43 years old, I'm realizing that, hey, a lot of the decisions and the choices that I've made, I have made them out of my codependency, out of my trauma, out of my lack of understanding. But today I'm just reminded that through all of our experiences, God has been with us each step of the way.
Yes, He has.
And even when we identify and we go out here and we do these labors of love to our community, and it's not a funding thing, it's not a support thing, it's just a desire and a passion that God has truly given us in our hearts to say, hey, we understand, we've been there, we've experienced those things, and we can identify with the people who are a part of our experience, what they need.
Yes.
So that's why we have a desire to constantly pour and give out, even sometimes when the cup is empty.
You still find.
Because I know you pour from an empty cup sometimes.
A lot of times.
And I pour from an empty cup sometimes, because not only am I doing a labor of love, I'm still a mother. You know what I'm saying? I still have my children, and it's like, sometimes I feel like, am I denying them a part of me? I'm not, because that's just a part of who I am. And I want them to understand that you just got to do the right thing because it's the right thing. Because it wasn't God's will to make me a mother or put all these different things in my space, I wouldn't be able to do them with grace.
Absolutely.
And I feel like when we just stop and we just open up and we just take a deep breath, God definitely sends the people.
Yeah.
Like you say, you put it out there, you provide the food and the resources and the service, and they show up.
Everything else just falls in place.
They show up.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing right there. So I definitely want to just thank you for allowing God to use you in a mighty way.
Yes, and I want you to know that I'm here for you if it's anything that you need me for. I'm just a phone call away.
Yes, you are. And I really appreciate that. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the Famonomics podcast. Okay. And like I tell my listeners, you're in the right place, right? Yes. You're in the right place in spite of how you may be feeling, the situation you may be enduring. You may be hurt. You may be sick in your body. You may have some family issues, but you are in the right place because God has ordained a time such as this. I want to say, if nobody claps for you, clap for your damn self. Thank you for joining us.